Picture a perfectly normal meal. You wash the produce, serve the salad, and take a bite. But beneath the skin of that beautifully crisp apple are microscopic traces of synthetic pesticides, residues that no amount of scrubbing at the kitchen sink can remove. It seems backward. Out in the agricultural fields, concentrated. The reason comes down to our biology. Humans occupy the top level of the food chain. Because we are apex predators, our bodies serve as the final, unavoidable dumping ground for synthetic chemicals. To understand how this accumulation happens, we have to stop looking at the environment as a collection of plants and animals. Instead, we need to see it as a strict, uncompromising biological engine. By ignoring the invisible architecture of how ecosystems actually operate, we have inadvertently weaponized the planet's food chain against ourselves. This diagram illustrates the starting point for energy in an ecosystem. Out of the massive wave of radiant energy the sun blasts toward Earth, green plants capture exactly 1% of it to produce food. That energy then moves through trophic levels, the different tiers of consumers. But the transfer is highly inefficient. When a herbivore eats those plants, it uses most of the calories for survival and digestion. 90% of the energy bleeds off as heat, leaving only 10% to pass up to the next link in the chain. Because of this severe energy loss at every step, food chains are physically limited. You can only stack 3 or 4 steps before the usable energy from that original sunbeam runs out, leaving almost nothing for the predator at the peak. The engine is locked into a single direction. Energy moves strictly upward. It cannot revert back to the sun, and it never flows downward to feed the previous level. A natural ecosystem is an inefficient pipeline. As matter moves upward, the system filters out and burns off the inputs. Nature recycles dead matter using specific bacteria and fungi, but those decomposers can only do their job if they possess the precise biological enzymes needed to digest that specific material. This is where human engineering breaks the machine. We produce synthetic materials, like pesticides and plastics, that are alien to nature. Because they do not occur naturally, the Earth has no biological enzymes capable of breaking them down. This comparison shows the biological glitch. On the left, natural energy shrinks as it climbs the pyramid, but on the right, because synthetic chemicals cannot be digested, they bypass the 10% loss rule. 100% of the chemical payload is preserved and passed to the next level, a process known as biological magnification. The math compounds rapidly. An apex predator eats thousands of lower-level organisms over its lifetime. Every indestructible molecule from the bottom of the pyramid is swept up the chain, consolidating into a dense cluster inside one body at the top. This invisible concentration is the reason why staple human foods, like grain and meat, contain accumulated pesticide residues. The food chain acts as a magnifying glass. It bypasses natural filtration to deliver the maximum chemical dosage directly to humans. The accumulation of indestructible synthetics reaches beyond the soil and water. These same mechanics govern the upper atmosphere. In the 1980s, atmospheric ozone began to drop sharply. This was linked to synthetic chemicals called chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, used in mid-century refrigerators. Like pesticides, these were released into the air without any natural enzyme or exit strategy to break them down. This diagram shows the result. Persistent CFC particles drifted into the atmosphere, where they continuously collided with and violently split apart the ozone molecules that shield the Earth from UV radiation. Whether we bury it in the dirt or release it into the air, introducing materials nature cannot digest results in structural damage to the environment. Currently, humanity generates massive amounts of waste, from chemical runoff to non-biodegradable packaging. We act as if the environment is a limitless void where garbage can simply be thrown away. But the physical laws of trophic levels prove there is no away. The Earth is a closed biological loop. We have the capacity to change this. In 1987, the United Nations brokered an agreement to freeze the production of CFCs, proving that we can regulate synthetic inputs when the damage becomes clear. We must apply that same logic to our daily packaging and waste systems. New technologies must be designed to be fully compatible with nature's biological enzymes. Because energy and matter only flow upward in this closed system, whatever indestructible poison we put into the Earth, we ultimately put into ourselves.